This week on the Austin Healey channel, we close the door on one side and start patching the other. I had to buy entirely new door latches because they just weren't with the car anymore. Luckily, they sold all the parts, but I need to fit them to the car. So I have the latch attached to this bracey thing. I need to mark where the holes go. Luckily, inside here, there's not a lot of sideways movement, so we can mostly put it in place. Then we're going to center it on this right here. And now with it centered, I can mark where the holes are, or where they're supposed to be. I'm guessing that the holes weren't consistent through the production, so they just leave them out, so you can do it yourself. So now we know exactly where the holes are supposed to go. I've been having trouble with this. Trying to make it in one piece I think was too much. So now I've cut the bottom off and I've made just this fold. Then I'm going to make another piece that goes on this fold, and then I'll join them in the middle once they're all correct. I want to stop there and tell you how difficult this stupid little corner was. It took me, I think, 3 tries to get to the point where I was happy with it. The problem is, it's this corner right here, this outside edge. It's fairly flat, and then it starts to curve. It follows this curve, and you have to fold a bend, a flange, into this curve. And when you do that, the metal wants to straighten out. It wants to form a 90-degree angle, a nice straight line. If you have a bead roller, with a tipping wheel, you can follow curves and create this flange fairly simply. I don't have one, at least not yet. It's on my wish list. So for the meantime, I had to find a way to do this. The way I did it, I ended up using an old piece that had this bead along it that I put here and then cut out just the flat piece here. Actually, it has a little bit of a curve to it. And then I used the bottom piece here and I just welded them together along this seam. And I used a fillet weld, which when you have two corners, you weld in here and it forms like a little half pipe for you skaters. So then with that fillet weld, I was able to grind back this corner to get the appropriate radius that's necessary for this. Overall, I spent like 2.5 days on it, which sucked. And I would get frustrated with it, so I'd have to go off and do something else. I got a lot of organizing done in the shop, which is a bonus. Also, it looks really ugly up through here, and that's because through here it's been leaded. This has been filled in with lead. Yeah, so I had to melt that away, so it looks really funny through here. I am happy with what I have. You know, if I had the right tools, I'd be able to do it differently. But wow, what an adventure. This is the patch panel that I've ordered. It's a little bit different. It has this lip on it and this edge here, which I think I'm gonna have to cut that off and fold that over. And then over here, this part, at least this one, has a big old notch taken out of it. So we're gonna cut this whole end off and just attach it here. After we cut this down to size, I'm not gonna use the lap here. I'm gonna do a butt joint, and I'm gonna cut it down here, and then slice it off there, and replace this whole section. I don't want to use this whatever they were doing here because it's awful. It's bumpy, it's warped, I don't know why this was done that way, but we're just gonna cut it off and go up to some solid steel and go from there. But to cut this out, we're going to have to take it off the car again. So I have this mostly in place, and it's a good thing I'm not trying to continue it all the way to the front, because the seam ends about here, which doesn't line up with this seam, funny enough. So I'll cut it back here like I was planning anyway. Use the original seam, it'll be fine. But how strange.
If you want to come along on the ride as we complete this project, click the subscribe button. If you want YouTube to tell you every time there's a new video, click the alarm bell. Thanks for watching, and your support is very much appreciated.